is up, YouTubers? Jonza here, and welcome back to another episode of Zawcasters. In the last episode, we were talking about the newest Pokemon game, which was Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I don't even know if it's quite as new as it is, like, as I'm recording this, or even from last week's, or actually from that episode we were talking about, because, well, I mean, when that game came out, it was like, halfway through November, and we're already like April. At least for me recording this. I mean, I think we might be still in April. Maybe? I don't know. But anyways, we're here to record or do another episode, and obviously, like I said in the start of the last episode, I don't know what we're going to be talking about yet. You guys do? I don't. So we are going to figure that out right about now. Spinning the wheel, we are talking about Miitopia. Okay, Miitopia is the one we're talking about. Alrighty. Let me just take a minute to take it off the list now, since I don't need it. There we go. Alrighty, so Miitopia. I get to talk about this game. Miitopia is definitely a very fun game that I have enjoyed, and it's been out for like, what, almost 2 years? Yeah, I think it's almost been out for almost 2 years at this point, which is very interesting. Like, we're April in 2023, and I think it came out around May in 2021, which I specifically remember this because I remember I wanted to record so many episodes and like make sure to try to get them uploaded onto YouTube as well before going to my dad's, which in that case as well, because I was going to be up at my dad's for like a month too, so I wanted to like record quite a lot of stuff for YouTube for my main channel, but the internet wasn't really great there, so I couldn't even really upload anything there. I still could have recorded some stuff, but I couldn't really upload anything, which kind of sucked while I was up there. I literally was off YouTube for like a whole month. I mean, kind of, because one of the things while I was doing up there as well was, or at least recording-wise, was E3, when E3 was still kind of going on. And it's kind of been canceled this year, but we might still get a summer direct. Anyways, we're going off topic. We're talking about Miitopia. I will say, like, a part of the Miitopia Let's Play I did on my main channel, I did at my dad's, because I wanted to get through some of the game as well, like kind of continue playing at some points too, which, yeah, like, I couldn't even record much while I was there since, well, I mean, it wasn't really a proper setup while I had down there, so, yeah, I couldn't really have any proper opportunities to record, so I was pretty much off for like a month at that point, but still trying to like grind my characters, try to get some the daily tickets as well. Like there was the gaming outing tickets that you get in the game, which if you don't know what those are, the gaming tickets helps you like get some specific items or something in the game throughout like a wheel or like a rock paper scissors situation. And then there's the outing tickets, which you can use to build up your friendship with another Mii, which, going back to the Mii section of Miitopia, you can literally make anybody you want in this game. I do know there was an original game of it, because the version I played was on the Switch, but the original version was on the 3DS. But the one thing, like the one major difference they added in was the makeup and wig sections, which with those, you can literally make like whatever. You can like change their like face color in general, because normally with Mii's you only have like the basic normal human face looks, so like, you know, either white skin, dark skin, somewhat tan skin. But no, you can like make your skin look like blue or green or something like that. And then of course, like with all the extra like makeup stuff you could put on the characters, add in like extra eyes too. You could literally make like any kind of character you wanted on Miitopia for Switch, and that was one of my favorite parts about the game too. I mean, when I was doing it for a Let's Play, I didn't really create a lot of stuff, but like nowadays I've been able to create some stuff myself, like some certain characters just with my knowledge of the characters. And I am kind of proud with what I've made with some of them. I mean, most of the stuff I've grabbed and it's on my Miitopia save. Most of them are just taken from other creators, but there are a good handful of characters there that I've made myself, which I am somewhat proud of those. Which, yeah, if anything, Miitopia might be one of my favorite games because I get to kind of create any kind of character I want. Like, there are so many different game characters I have. Like, I have Sonic, Pikachu, Spyro, Crash, Kirby, Yoshi, Diddy, the Ice Climbers, Banjo-Kazooie. We have Five Nights at Freddy's characters. We have the Rainbow Friends. We have a lot of other Pokemon. We have Ronald McDonald. We have, like, just think they're trying to think of one, like, we have a teddy bear. Don't ask me why I have a teddy bear in there. I just do, okay? But, like, there's just so many, like, creations you can make as well, which is, like, probably one of my most favorite parts about the game, honestly. It's just you can kind of go through, which kind of gives the game a bit of a replayability as well, especially if you have, like, a Nintendo Online situation. Like, if you don't want to, like, recreate the characters you've already made, the one thing you could do is make another Nintendo Switch Online account, and, like, what you could do is friend yourself and then copy those into another save. That's what I've been kind of doing for my live streams in my main channel, because normally when I live stream I do like their own separate save playthroughs or whatever, just like whenever I feel like live streaming or something. And I've literally copied like all the characters from my main save into the other save. So yeah, and the thing is you could like go in with like a different, it's like you kind of go through the same adventure but with different characters, which is kind of fun, honestly. Like at one point you can have a, like, you could probably have one team filled with Pokemon throughout your entire journey, like throughout the main story of Miitopia, or then after, or you can have like another section of that with Five Nights at Freddy's characters. Like there's just so much replayability in that, which you can just kind of go with like 10 other random characters. I mean, I will say in post game you can technically have up to like 100 people in your party, but within the story, you can have about 100, or not 100. Within the story, you can have about 10 party members, which I guess the 9 would make a bit more better, because the thing is, for your first character, you technically have to make it yourself. Like, you can't copy from another person. You literally have to make your character right there and then. So, unfortunately, in my case, I can't become, like, Sceptile, for instance, is Pokemon. He can't become the main character of the story unless I decide to really, like, dig deep and actually, like, remake him from scratch. Uh, Especially in some other case where there's like a character I haven't actually made myself, like Sonic the Hedgehog, for instance. Like the Sonic I haven't originally made him, so it would be very difficult to actually like make him exactly the way he was if I didn't originally make him. Especially trying to copy what they've done already, so I mean, it could easily copy me and save it, but like I have to know exactly what makeup to use, where to exactly put it too. So, yeah. That's the one kind of downfall, but like after you make your main character, you can just copy everything else, which is pretty alright. So, yeah. And it's just one of my funnest features about Utopia that I like the most. Story-wise, I think it's a very interesting story how there is this Dark Lord who goes around stealing people's faces and putting them on monsters, and it's up to you and your team to go and save these Mii's faces. It's very interesting also, like, because there's NPC Mii's you can also like put. That's another fun thing too. Like, there's NPC Mii's, and you can have like whatever you want of character wise as those. Like, for instance, we could have like Mayor Diddy Kong, and then there's a couple of like there's a happily married couple of like Waluigi and Toy Bonnie, for instance. Like it's just funny what you can like make, honestly, which is amazing. That also helps like the with the replay ability as well, because technically every single character would be different. Well, I mean, obviously they would still say their same lines and everything in the game and everything, and act the same, but it'd be interesting to have it as like a separate character, you know. But anyways, getting back to the story, but you kind of go through like these different like story objectives as well. You save like a princess and a king in the first world, and you move on to a desert land where you're trying to stop a genie, and then more faces get stolen after that, and then you have to help elves in the third world, which is also another interesting thing, especially like to add like more Miis into your team, because with each world, you get like three new party members, which in the first world you just have yourself and three other teammates, right? But like as you go into the next world, the Dark Lord literally yeets your friends away, and you have to go around and get new friends, just to save your old ones. Which kind of happens for like every world, besides World 4, which that's where you start getting your friends back, and you literally have to save your friends' faces too, which is another like fun objective to do as well. Like you slowly get your teammates back and see what they even look like without faces too, which is interesting. And also for like the next world too, the one thing you also lose is your job outfit, which like well you lose your job, which normally the jobs are like your I guess you could say it's like a class that you would have like save for like Dungeons and Dragons. So like there's like a warrior job, there's a thief job, there's a mage job. Like after you're done the first world, you just lose that and you just pick a new job and move on from there. Which funny enough, every job has its own like level scale, which kind of makes it very interesting because you kind of literally start from square one after the first world, pretty much. Because say I went through the first world as a warrior, which I did in my original Let's Play, and after my warrior was taken away, I pick a new job, which is scientist, but it starts off at level 1 again. The thing is, like, my warrior job still stays at the level I got it once I eventually get those jobs back to use. But, like, when you move on to another job, you literally start back at level 1, which is interesting. The one thing that technically stays in your stats is, like, the stat boosts, pretty much. So that's another thing that is, which the stat boosts you can get by, like, you get, like, random foods within, like, your journey, too, which you can buff up your stats, so, like, you can really try to max out, your attack or speed or whatnot. Those at least stay with your character no matter what, so that's one thing. But you still have to like re-get the outfits and the weapons you need, and of course you need to rebuild that level as well, and of course get new friends to level them up too. So yeah, it's just a fun little experience. It's like a fun little RPG. It's not even really a hard RPG game, but it's still pretty fun. The one thing I do kind of complain about sometimes is that I don't get to control the other characters whenever we're in battle. Because the only character I have control of attacking wise is myself. Like my character, I can only control him for attacking the enemy. Everyone else kind of does their own thing and uses like random attacks pretty much. Which sometimes they do good stuff, but sometimes they kind of screw me over. Which is a little bit annoying. And the separate jobs, like, let's see. Let's see if I can remember all of them on the top of my head. I'm going to try to go by order. So, there's warrior, mage, cleric, thief, pop star, chef, cat, imp, scientist, princess, tank, flower, elf, and vampire. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are all, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all the jobs that are out there, which yeah, a very bunch of interesting jobs to do. And also another thing that I also probably didn't mention as well that was not in the original game is that you actually get a horse as well. Like you get a horse companion that actually helps you in battle too. Like the horse normally has two separate moves that you can use, and the horse normally helps you out at whatever random turn. Like it's just a completely random turn. He decides to be like, "Oh hey, let me help you out here," and then like you can either do like a what is this? Like I know there's like a single attack. I keep forgetting the name of it. I think it's like a mount attack where you just do like massive damage to one enemy, or sometimes it's either like one or three sometimes. And then there's Snort where he breathes fire and like attacks all the enemies in front of you at once, which is nice. And then he technically does have a third one, but that one's specifically for your character and your job. So for that, like, it's called Horse Whisperer, and what it does, the other horse moves don't use any MP, but this Horse Whisperer move, it takes up all the MP you have. Like, it doesn't matter how much MP you have to have all of it in your gauge in order to use it. And it's like a powerful move that you can either does a lot of damage or it can really boost your team's stats, which is a very interesting concept, and it's only used for your character. Like none of the other random Miis in your party can learn Horse Whisperer. They only know the other two. But yeah, it's kind of useful, especially for ones that actually have like a big attack. Like say if you're going up against a boss, you can like use that like one big attack. Like if the horse decides to help you, you can try to get all your MP back during that turn. Because there's stuff like sprinkles like that you can use during your turn to bring back your MP and HP and everything like that. So like if you try to like gain back all your MP before using it, obviously, then you could do like massive damage on a boss, which is very helpful. Especially if you get like some sort of like stat boost too, which in my case, I will say I'm not gonna go over every single move for the Mii characters or the Mii jobs, but like I will say there's this one specific one that is very useful, and that is for like the cat job. There's one where there's sharpened claws, which normally doubles your like next attack normally. So whatever damage you do normally with a certain attack, it will double it the next turn. And if you can somehow time it right to where you sharpen your claws and then you're able to use the Horse Whisperer move the next turn, holy crap, it does a lot of damage. Like normally what it does like a bunch of like furious attacks, which I think normally for a level, like the highest level is 50. For like a level 50, it does like between 300 to 350. So if you doubled that, it would be between like 600 to 700, which like per hit, by the way, it's per hit of the swipe. So it would be like 650, 700, 650, 700 or something like that. And that just does amazing huge damage. Like if you plan that well, it's possible. Like the game is also kind of based on RNG for a lot of the times. Um, I mean, obviously there's some moves that are like 100% accuracy, but like or like guarantee hits. But there's some that don't land all the time as well, which is a little bit of a complaint, especially for me trying to do some specific grind and stuff. Like for instance, another one for the cat move, which is how do I now know the name? I actually forgotten the name, and I use it a lot. I'm gonna call it Stealthy Snare for now, but normally what that does, you can normally steal like any kind of food from an enemy, but it doesn't always work. Like it's not 100% accurate. It just sometimes they're just not able to take a food from an enemy. I mean, you can if you keep going at it, and eventually you can get it. And normally, what I try to like to do normally, because there is this specific food item which boosts all of your stats, And normally what I like to do is go after that enemy that has that specific food, and then just kind of go on by myself and just kind of keep using like stealthy snare. As I've said, it's probably not the exact move name, but I use that and I keep getting the snurp foods. So like I could keep getting those big boost stats for my team or whatever. Especially like for post, like it's very useful for post game because obviously a post game, like I said, you can have up to 100 party members, which obviously they're not really much for the story anymore. But like, you can pretty much have like whoever you want in a team, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean that's like a move that is useful for that, but it doesn't land every time, which is somewhat annoying. There's this, uh, actually, there's another enemy I would talk about in a minute, which is more interesting. But like some other moves that aren't 100%, there's like a few moves. Like there's one with a cleric, chef, and okay. Sorry for the little cut. I had to take a call there for a second. But anyways, getting back to what we were talking about, I was talking about the one-shot moves. Oh, I guess when I was trying to text me, I was literally being told about. Oh no, that's something else. Okay, I'll get to that later. But anyways, getting back to what we were talking about for the podcast. They're like I was saying about the cleric, the cleric, the chef, and the imp. Imp. That was another one. That was one I missed. I figured out another one I missed. Did I not say the imp? I swear I counted up to an even amount, but I don't know. Anyways, with those ones, both the chef and the cleric have a one-shot kill that they can use on one enemy, but I'm pretty sure it's like a 50-50 chance with that, so that's also not a 100% move, but like say you're like up against, well, maybe not a boss. I don't think it works on bosses, but like say there's an enemy you want to take out immediately, boom, it can be done almost instantly. And then there's another one with the imp, which he also typically has a one-shot move, but it can land on like anybody, which I think that has a lower percent chance. I think maybe like 30 or something, like a 30% chance, which would make sense to lower that just because it has a chance to one-shot almost everything on the field. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. That's another thing that was mentioned. I guess I never really talked about more about the story. But anyways, you do technically have like a bit of a teacher, I guess, throughout the adventure too, which is the Great Sage. And another thing that happens is like after you defeat the Dark Lord the first time, he leaves the original body of that me that he took over, and well, he's said like a dark curse, which then he goes and possesses the Great Sage and becomes the even darker Lord. So you have to do that, and then you get introduced to the Traveler's Hub, which you can finally do like missions and stuff, and then you also learn about some other stuff in the game, like sickness, which I thought sickness was a fun idea at first. Just because it kind of lets you use up like more of your teammates as well. Because at this point, after you fight the Dark Lord for the first time, you technically get all your 10 party members back at that point. So at this point, like with sickness, it makes your me not usable for like a few days, I guess. Which not like real life days, but like every time you're done like done a level, like they have a chance to come back or whatever, but it could like take a day or two or whatever. Um, yeah, I was fun. I thought it was a nice idea at first, but then it kind of gets annoying after the main story when you're trying to level up some specific Miis and they're sick and you can't use them, which is annoying. Another fun thing that doesn't really come up too much in post game, it does kind of show up a little bit while you're kind of going through the fourth world, is that your team kind of gets split in half. Like you kind of like as they're walking, I guess, like a giant rock goes in between like half your party members, and you have to go through a certain level with just those specific party members, and then same with the other side, you have to do it with those specific party members too until they meet up again. Which I think that one's a nice, fun little thing too. At least all the Miis are usable in that section. Which it does still kind of do that in the post game too. But like, you know. But yeah, after you're done, you go to like the next Dark Lord's like I guess tower, which then leads to Outer World, which for the final boss in that case, you have to use all 10 of your teammates in during certain sections. Like, you have 3 selected for the left hand, another 3 for the right hand, and then you literally fight the actual Dark Lord himself, which is like, or the Darker Lord, which is the, I guess he becomes the Darkest Lord, which he literally becomes the sun. And you have to fight him with the rest of your teammates, which he grabs your other teammates' faces and uses them as like small minions against you and your last remaining 4 team members, which I think was kind of creative, especially for like the main final boss fight in general. Like you get to just fight like as a whole team for once. Well, I mean, kind of. You kind of have like different sections of the fight, but like still, you're technically fighting with all 10 of your teammates, which is pretty nice. I kind of like that final boss fight, honestly. And then the one thing you can do, well, the thing is as well, with, there's 2 jobs as well, I forgot to mention. You don't get to really use them until post-game. Like, you don't acquire them until post-game, and there's some specific missions you have to do. Which, one of them you kind of have to get to a certain point in, like, the beach area, which is where you have to actually beat the main game for. Which I think you could also get this other, like, job. It's like the elf and vampire job you have to get. The vampire one I think you can actually get before you fight the final boss. But you got that, which I think you just have to do a small mission for someone. And then another one where you have to go through this, like, long stroll through the, like, a beach area, which that's, like, you only get acquired the beach access until, like, after the main story's done. You have to go through pretty much almost the entire beach, get to this one section where there's a lot of more tougher enemies, fight a boss, and then you get the elf job, which I find the elf job a lot harder to get. But, yeah. After you acquire those, there's another world, which is called New Limbus, which you have to go through 8 separate districts and defeat all the bosses there. And when you do, I think if you at least defeat 3 bosses, you can enter the Tower of Dread, which I think you fight all the... district bosses once again in that tower. There's that, and I think you face against the dark sun, like a stronger dark sun after that one. And then there's another one, which is the Tower of Doom, maybe? I don't remember the towers, but then there's a final tower where you go up against some really, really tough enemies that you probably can't see anywhere else in the game. And the thing is, for these towers, like, it's one after another. There's no time for healing, so you really have to be careful and you really have to pick. I think with the Tower of Dread, with that one, I think the Tower of Dread, now that I'm thinking about it, is the harder one. But, like, I remember the first tower, I literally did that with not even a full, like, strong-ass team. Like, I decided to go into it, and I was like, okay, I'll just see how far I can get. And I just somehow beat it in my first try. Like, it was a tough strategy I decided to do towards the end, but, like, yeah. I did plan for the next tower, which the final boss in that tower, like in the last tower, I guess, like, the strongest enemy you can fight, is, like, this big, like, random snurp. It's really, like, a very strong-ass snurp as well, which... I was going to say another thing, like, there's another enemy which is called the very rare Snurps, which they could give you tons of EXP, but it's almost like a 50-50 chance whether they'll stay for a turn or leave, and if they leave, you can't get the experience, so that's another thing that's annoying while trying to grind, is trying to fight those things, and they leave, and they don't give you the experience. But yeah, you kind of go up against the, big ass Snurp at the end, and yeah, I remember I did that with myself. There was my friend Dakota. I put Yoshi and Pikachu on my team, which I was the warrior. My friend Dakota was a cat. Yoshi was a cleric, and Pikachu was a scientist, and that's what I used to do that big final boss. And I think I actually had I think I had like one of the Fab Fairies help out too, because like literally you can have one of the NPCs come with you, and like they have a specific job too sometimes, like when you do requests and stuff. But you can have them come with you to do that specific job, but you can also just kind of bring them along to help you in other fights too. So I had like the youngest Fab Fairy, which I'm pretty sure I had Mithra from Xenoblade. Was it Xenoblade? Yeah, Xenoblade. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2? Yeah. But Mithra we had, and with all of them we were able to defeat it, which was pretty amazing. I think it was my first attempt going through too. I don't think I had any repeats or anything with those, so somewhat of an easy game, but also has like some RPG elements to it, which is pretty nice. But like I said, probably my most favorite part about the game is just being able to like make all these certain characters and have them go through the story with you as well, which is definitely fun. I definitely enjoyed the game. And if you guys haven't played Miitopia for the Switch, I definitely recommend it. It is fun. You get to be very creative with what you can make. You can make like whatever kind of character you want. It doesn't even have to be an original character. I mean, it can be an original character. That's what I meant to say. Like, you don't have to have characters like Pikachu or Donkey Kong. Like, you can literally make your own straight up character, which I totally have made a few of my own characters before too. So, yeah. Alrighty. So with that, I guess that's gonna end it for this episode. Pretty alright, especially for me recording wise. This is the third one I've recorded in a row. I've literally did the Mario movie, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet episode, just like before this, and then we have this one, which I'm also going to try to record some more tomorrow as well, as of recording this, which is going to be the 12th of April, so yeah, stay tuned for that. But anyways, I'm going to end things here. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. If you guys liked it, press the like button or subscribe, whatever. And I'll see you dudes in the next podcast. See you dudes next time.